joining us online due to COVID-19. The only people here are the commissioners and staff. Anybody who wishes to address the commission is going to do so via telephone. Okay. The first item on the agenda is to consider approval of minutes for February 2020. Commissioners, do I have a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes.
Second.
Meta made the motion and Todd seconded. Do we need discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Moving on to the first item of the agenda of the meeting. We have case number AZ 2020-001, established zoning for a voluntarily annexed property located at 1330 North US 281, being 3.34 acres of the Williams Survey A0804 to the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Do we have a staff report on that?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chairman, ladies, members of the board, if I could just say that we will have members calling in. We do have one of the commissioners that I believe is calling in remotely, and so we will hear some feedback on that throughout the night. We do ask for your patience, as this is our first meeting to provide, to have with public input from this type of forum. So we will have anticipate some video difficulties or technical difficulties as we move forward. Case number AZ 2020-001, as you stated, is a voluntarily annexed property at 1330 US North US Highway 281, 3.34 acres of the Williams Survey A0804. To provide some background, the city received a voluntary request for annexation on December 31st. The owner and the city of Stephenville worked out a municipal services agreement, and on February 4th, the city council adopted ordinance 2020-0-07, which is in your packet. Provided in your packet also is the zoning of annexed territory, which explains what the commission is asked to do in regards to this annexation. We are recommending industrial zoning.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this zoning? I assume not. Okay, anybody who wishes to speak opposed? I assume not. Okay. Closing the public hearing. Commissioners, do I have a motion?
Well, I have a question first, but I can't really ask without a motion, but I can ask questions of staff, so I'll do it that way.
Yes, sir.
On the future land use, I don't know what number this is, 20 of 64 in the agenda packet you handed to us. It says the future land use, but it doesn't show that that's proposed industrial. It just shows the, I mean, I don't have black and white copies, we have a color copy.
Okay.
Maybe it does.
Fisher, do we have that on the PowerPoint?
Mr. Chief.
Future land use is in the extraterritorial jurisdiction, which is what we are looking at here. This property was annexed. It was in the ETJ. It is no longer in the ETJ because of the annexation. But the future land use for the ETJ is industrial, and that's the recommended plan.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. It just looks
Yes,
all, okay.
There we go.
That's what I was looking for.
I apologize for
No,
the
it's
black
fine,
and
it's
white
fine.
copy.
We're good, we're good. Then I'll move that we approve, or recommend to council to assign industrial zoning in case AZ 2020-001.
I second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Todd, a second from Vince, and do we need to have a discussion? Okay, all those in favor of recommending to council that they approve this zoning of industrial to this property, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, moving on. Case number AZ 2020-002, establish zoning for the new extraterritorial jurisdiction boundary as a result of a recent voluntarily annexed property located at 1330 North US 281, being 3.34 acres of the Williams Survey A0804 to the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Steve, do you have anything to add? Or?
Yes, ma'am. As I guess a reaction to the previous case, the annexation of that voluntarily annexed property, the city is authorized to expand the ETJ as a result of that annexation. And this case is simply to expand the ETJ, and provided in your packet in the background section, if you look at Texas Local Government Code 42.022, expansion of the ETJ, and for a city of our size with a population of 5,000 to 24,199 inhabitants, the city is authorized to expand the ETJ from up to 1 mile from the most northern part of the property.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this? That's a no. Anybody who wish to speak opposed? Okay, closing the public hearing. Commissioners? Does somebody care to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that we approve to council the expansion of the ETJ.
Second?
As proposed.
As proposed?
As proposed.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we need to have a discussion? No?
Madam Chair, if I may clarify, we also ask that the commission consider zoning the ETJ
Industrial.
to industrial zoning to
Correct.
comply with the future land
Thank
use
you.
of the ETJ.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the motion stands that we recommend to council approval of expanding the ETJ and, let's see, and zoning it industrial. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, this motion passes. Case number RZ 2020-004, applicant Diane Titterman with Great American Entertainment Company LLC is requesting a rezoning for the property located at Zero Race, being Block 1, Lot 1B of the S3500 Frey First Edition to the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from neighborhood business B1 to multiple family R3. Steve, do we have?
Yes, ma'am. I believe we will have a speaker for this particular property based on earlier discussions this week. Staff, however, does not necessarily support this rezoning request from B1 to R3, neighborhood business to multifamily, as it does not comply with the comprehensive plan. The current zoning is B1, neighborhood business with future land use as R1, single family. The request is to rezone to multifamily.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone?
This is Mary Winslow with Western Community Realty. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. If you could just state restate your name and your address, and then you may go ahead.
This is Mary Winslow with Western Community Realty. I'm the listing agent on the property on Zero Race Street.
Okay. You wish to speak in approval of this?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell
And
me
this
why?
is Diane Linderman, the owner.
Okay.
And basically, we just would like to get our zoning the same as my neighbors because on both sides of me, we're all zoned for houses and things like that. So, you know, we have this nice lot there, and it's kind of a strange zoning for a lot in the middle of a bunch of residential houses. And it doesn't do us much good. So we'd like to have you consider allowing us to, you know, have the zoning change for that reason.
Do you have specific plans for this property?
Oh, no, we'd like to, you know, build something on it, you know, or sell it and have somebody else build something on it, because we actually bought this lot because a friend of mine bought the little house next to it, and I just sort of helped her out because we got a better deal if we got both of them. And so we would like to either use it for residential, but what was the zoning, Mary, again?
It's the R3, the multifamily.
R3, yeah, R3. And it's a big lot. So, but for us to, you know, keep it as a business lot, there's really nothing I can do with it. And I'm in the middle of a bunch of houses. So we would hopefully request that you allow us to do this, because otherwise that lot is not a useful lot.
And do you specifically want to do R3, or would you be opposed to R1?
Mary?
I mean, we're wanting it to be the highest and best use. We've had several offers on it, but we can't do anything with it because of it being zoned at B1.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay,
And then the adjacent parcels are R3.
right. I'm just looking at the future land use, which is R1 for all of that area. So that's where the sticking point is. But I certainly see why you wouldn't want it to remain B1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's right adjacent to R3s already, and
right.
it's a big lot, so it's a beautiful
And
lot.
the adjacent property that is on Fry, there's a house on that, and it's B1.
Okay,
So I don't know why this empty lot is zoned B1 and you can't build a house or a multifamily improvement on it.
okay. Thank you. Commissioners, does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone? Is there anybody who wishes to speak opposed? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a recommendation to council that we approve the rezoning of this lot to R3 multifamily, even though it does not comply to the comprehensive plan. I think that would be the best use of this property. It's a large enough lot that would support multifamily. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll go ahead and second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vance Wade, a second by Justin. Discussion? Anybody?
No, just echo, I'd just like to echo the comments. It does, future land use does reflect our single family, however, it's all R3 around it. And if anybody's gonna grab up these little lots, they'd have to grab basically the block to put
Yep, that's what I was looking at.
anything on there.
Okay, we ready to vote? All right, all those in favor of the motion to approve, to recommend to council that we approve this rezone to R3, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Were you opposed or were you for?
Opposed.
Opposed. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, that motion passes. I don't know, who is that? Cliff, okay. This motion passes, and that will go forward to council. Okay, next up, case number RP 2020-001. Applicant Shay Gafour, acting on behalf of APITX 24 LLC-GNC Patterson Investment LLC, is requesting a replat of the property located at 224, 244, 280, and 290 McElhaney parcel R30261, R30262, R30263, and R30264, also known as Lot 14 and 34, 15, 16, and 17, Block 134 of the City Addition to the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Steve, what's the story?
Yes, ma'am. Applicant Shay Gafour, he actually had this case slated for the March meeting, which we had to postpone or cancel because of the current situation. So we appreciate his patience with this. Same with Ms. Tiderman on the previous case. Mr. Gafour is asking for a replat of this property. It's currently zoned multifamily with the future zoning or future land use of multifamily as well. Staff has no opposition to the replat request, and a copy of the replat is included in your packet.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this replat? Anybody who wishes to speak opposed? Okay, closing the public hearing. Commissioners? Anybody care to make a motion?
I move to approve RP 20, or no, I don't recommend to approve that, it's not my job. I recommend the council approves replat 2020-001.
I second it.
Okay, so we have the motion made by Todd McAvoy, second by, we'll give it to Meta. Okay, do we need a discussion? We good? We good to vote? Okay. All those in favor of approving to council that we approve this replat, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, this motion passes. Next up, case number R02020-005. Applicant Steve Ryack with Bachman LLC is requesting a rezone of property located at 2811 West Washington, parcel R72705, Lot 8, Block A of the FMC Technology Edition to the City of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from industrial to retail and commercial business. Steve.
Yes, ma'am. The current application is for a property that is zoned industrial with future land use of commercial through the comprehensive plan. Staff has no opposition to the request, and if we look at the adjacent properties, many of those are currently operating as commercial businesses, even though the current zoning is industrial. So we will be looking at that moving forward as to perhaps maybe the map had not been updated during those rezoning requests in previous years. So no opposition from staff on this rezone request.
What was the motivation for the request to rezone? I mean, it's just crossing Ts and dotting Is?
Basically wanted to have the same zoning as the adjacent properties is what was expressed on the application.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone? Anybody who wishes to?
Yes, ma'am, I am. This is Steve Rich.
Steve Rich, thank you, sir. Can you please state your address for the record?
The address of the property is 2811 West Washington.
Okay, go ahead. You wish to speak in favor of it, I assume?
Yeah, I appreciate you hearing this today. When we purchased this property back in 2008, there were already commercial and retail clients or tenants that were in the property. The previous owner did not make us aware at the time and did not provide any paperwork to us that it had been zoned industrial. So in talking with the city just a few months ago, they brought that to our attention, which is why we requested the change.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak in favor of this rezone? Anybody wish to speak opposed? All right, closing the public hearing. Commissioners.
I'll make a motion to make recommendation to council for case number RZ 2020-005, that they approve this request to rezone property located 2811 West Washington parcel to, in the way it's written.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Todd seconds? Okay, Vance made the motion, Todd seconded. Do we need a discussion? All right, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the motion to recommend to council approval of this rezone, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Was that Cliff? Cliff, were you approving or did
All for it, you bet.
Okay, thank you, sir. There's a little delay, that's all. Okay, thank you, sir. So that motion passes. Moving on. Okay, case number RP 2020-002. Applicant Joe Fernando Soto is requesting a replat of property located at 645 McCart, parcel R33258, being Lot 3N and Lot 2, Block 10 of the Shepherd and Collins addition to the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Mr. Killen.
Yes, ma'am. Property has current and future zoning of multifamily. Staff has no opposition to the replat request based on certain conditions which have been communicated to the applicant on a previous occasion by phone conversation. We have expressed our desire to the applicant to have a 16-foot utility easement along North Paddock Avenue for an existing water line. And we've also provided some language to the applicant that will need to be provided on the plat, which is basically standard language for utility easements for the city.
Okay, so any motion we make needs to include that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of this replat? Is there anybody who wishes to speak opposed to this replat? Okay, closing the public hearing. Commissioners?
Do we have to make a motion before we can ask the question?
Before we can have a discussion, yes.
No, but not the staff.
If the question is for Steve, you can,
Oh, well, I will ask it for Steve. Did he say what he plans to do with this replat? Is he going to build a building or does he have any plans for it?
I do not recall him giving me a reason why he was wanting to replat it.
he is in? Oh,
I believe he owns both properties and just wanted
Well, I knew
to
he did.
plat them together was what he and I discussed that particular day.
But we would need to make a recommendation before we ask him.
well,
Because
we closed the public
He
hearing.
didn't
Yeah, we
speak for
already
the public
closed
hearing.
No, I didn't know.
Do what?
Should we
You can reopen.
okay, we'll reopen the public hearing.
All right.
Mr. Soto, do you wish to speak in favor of this replat?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, because there was, before when I had rezoned the other property, there was 2 old trailers there, and when I first initiated the first rezoning of the other, all I was doing is adding where those 2 old trailers were at, which I told the council before then that I would like to remove those old trailer houses that were, making the neighborhood kind of look a little trashy. To add that to make it, I told them I might build some multifamily, duplexes are there. That's what the initial rezoning was for. So all I'm doing is adding from the original property we own right there, add it to that property that's already zoned as multifamily.
Okay,
Extra 25, 30 feet, I can't recall what the measurements were.
okay, I see. And for the record, could you just state your address so that they have that on,
Oh, my address is 663 McCart Street.
okay, and that's Joe Fernando Soto. Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Yeah, like I say, there was 2 old trailer houses there, which were removed and got them, out of the county. I guess they're out of the county to, make that lot, clean up the area. Because my house is right next to that. The next lot next to there is my house, so I was just trying to, clean up that area.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does anybody have questions for Mr. Soto? No? Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay, commissioners, do we have a motion?
I'll recommend to council approval of RP 2020-002.
Okay, do we have a second?
Well, you got
We
to
have
cover
many
the
questions.
utility.
Oh, right,
With the specific
With the
language
condition.
With the
and
conditions.
entitled in here, or listed in here.
all right.
Who's second?
I second.
We'll give it,
Gave
we'll
it
give
our
it
last
to Vance this time. Okay. So we
good.
have a motion. Do we need to discuss?
Yes, discussion.
Discussion, okay.
Quick question for staff. You're requesting a 4-inch, you're requesting a waiver for utilities, 16-inch utility easement, right? Along Paddock Street, which is the line, I'm assuming this 4-inch on page 62 of our packet. There's a 4-inch line, green line, coming through that stops right at the, so I guess that's the actual commercial building there. I guess that's what that is. Are you concerned, is staff concerned that that 4-inch line is going to be extended all the way down to 645? We'll call it 645 plat number? Or where are we requesting the 16-foot utility easement when there's no utilities anywhere close to this piece of property?
With the street there that's along Paddock, the right-of-way that the city would require for that particular street on the thoroughfare plan would provide that particular easement requirement. So with the 4-inch line, the extension of that line, although may not be planned in the immediate future, is something that we would like to make sure that if it is expanded or extended, that we would have that utility easement to do so.
Okay. And see, my concern is with this proposal is, right now, I'm assuming Mr. Soto, and I didn't ask, but I'm assuming that he wants to use that and cleared it out, and he's going to use that as his yard or whatever else he's going to use it for. However, in the future, and he doesn't have any problem with it in the current future, but if he goes to sell that piece of property in the future, and there's an easement there, you're now restricting 16 foot away from there, and there's no current, you're not going to be able to build anything, a house on that piece of property because there's an easement. So then we'll have to go back the other way to, what I'm saying is I support the rezone. I don't support the foot utility easement. Because I don't think that utility, there's a 6-inch line right across the street that somebody would be able to tie into with the water line right there. There's probably already water lines there. You're talking about a lot of ifs, ands, or whats, but you're taking away 16 feet of somebody's property to be used for whatever they're going to be able to designate they need to use it for. So that's my concerns with the conditions. I mean, I appreciate staff looking forward in the future for us, but I can't support that. I can support the replat, but I can't support that.
Because I had it rezoned already and they never did that. That's why I didn't understand why they were doing that.
Well, there's also a setback requirement associated with the
I
property.
think the setback was 20 feet from.
Right, but does the setback kick in on top of the easement?
No, sir.
Easement doesn't allow him to put anything on top of it.
Right, cannot build on top of an easement.
So a shed's out of question there.
Right.
Right now, he could build a shed. I'm not talking about the house. I mean, he could put a shed in his backyard. If we put that easement in there, he can't have a shed. Not on that 16 foot.
Well, and the easement, it would be to satisfy both sides of the street, would it not?
No, it's only on-
Well, there's no other side.
That's what I'm kind of thinking about, because the other side is the railroad track, and if he's using the utilities on McCart to tie into the property versus utilities on Paddock, it'd be kind of redundant.
I have a question for staff. Is there an easement on property number 635?
That I don't have that information with me, sir. I apologize.
There's probably not an easement on
Probably not an easement
720.
there. No, there's probably not any easements anywhere because you do have utilities on both sides of the street.
On McCart. Mm-hmm.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
that
Wait,
we amend
wait,
the
wait.
current motion.
Okay.
And amend the current motion to recommend the council to remove the, I'd like to remove the staff recommendations of a utility easement in the plat to include required language.
Okay, is there a second for
I
Todd's?
second that.
Okay, So are we done with our discussion? Because we need to vote on the amendment first. So, are we ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor of Todd's amendment to remove the requirement for a 16-foot utility easement, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Cliff, where are you?
I'm not sure people, you know, I'm saying now, there's a lot of people.
Hello?
Did you hear that last vote?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Todd made an amendment to the motion to remove the 16-foot utility easement along North Paddock. And the vote was, on that amendment, do you approve of that, of removing the 16-foot utility easement?
Be fine. Yes.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, so that motion passes. Okay, so the recommendation, okay, now let's vote on the actual amendment, which is to approve to recommend to council approval of the replat with,
No condition.
with no conditions? No, we still want, well, the plat
took
must
out
include
both.
the language required for plats regarding the easement, so we don't want that second one on there?
We took out both, was my motion.
Was your intention?
That was no intention.
Is that everybody's intention?
It was for the staff's modifications.
For the staff's modifications, okay. Okay. All those in favor of recommending to council that we approve this, this replat without staff's recommendations, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Okay, that motion passes and goes on to council. And we're done.
Second.
Thank you.